We're a little early, so we're gonna do a little housekeeping. Wait those hands. I came to pump. Come on. What you say? Don't be shy. Just feel it and feel free. I know you came to have a good time. We about to get started. We about to get loose. We about to do what we came to do. Ha, ha. Oh, I want to dance. Wait, I want to mess it up. Every 6, 7, and Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing out there? For all of you that don't know, today is the 21st of October. It's a Wednesday. It's 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, at least when we recorded this, for all of you who are going to catch it later. But right now, in this moment, it is 10 o'clock p.m. on Wednesday, October 21st. My name is William Bryant Miles, but you can call me WBM, which means you're watching what? The wonderful world of WBM Live. We have so much to talk about. For all of you who were here last week, I did my nails. They actually, all things considered, are holding on pretty well, especially, this is how I have to show them when I'm at a party. People are like, let me see your nails. A party, remember that? Remember being at parties around people you never met? Like, I realized that I'm actually like really kind of craving, meeting somebody new. Imagine that. But you show them off like this. You'll be like, just look at these ones. These are good ones. Actually, these are the good ones, relatively speaking. And so, I'm gonna try to paint my face again. I have really sensitive skin. If you don't know, I suffer from very, I don't know if chronic is the word, but very bad eczema. It ebbs and it flows. Sometimes it's wonderful and I don't have any issues, and other times it's really bad. And so today we're going to dabble in makeup again and see what happens. I have a couple of breakouts, a couple of other things going on, but we're going to work it out and we're going to see. I see the comments come on camo. Yes, we're giving you a little bit of war is stupid. People are stupid. I have a mirror here and I have you guys here, but so I realized that especially during this time of the Rona, my skin has really been challenged. And I think part of it is just because, my eating habits are not the best. I found this Chinese restaurant, this lighting in here makes this look really crazy. It's just like bling, bling. I found this Chinese restaurant by my house that I'm obsessed with, and it's vegan. But as we know, Oreos are vegan, so vegan does not equal healthy. Also, I've been sitting on the couch. I don't think we realized how long we would be at home. And I've worked from home before the Rona, so I'm not going to sit here and act like the Rona completely upended me from having some crazy healthy routine. But I was dabbling in the gyms, which I'm not doing right now like that. I'm not here for that. And just because I don't trust other people and their like version of healthy and safe, you know what I mean? So I was dabbling in the gyms before, which I haven't done in like 9 months. Well, let's see. Yes, I can't do math. March to April, April to May, May to June, June to July, July to August, August to September, September to October. 7 months. We've been in the house for 7 months. And now I'm feeling very hunched over. I'm trying to give you guys a little bit of upright, a little bit of act right, upright. But I'm feeling I can't open this. I'm feeling very hunched over. And I'm like, I need a massage, but I just don't know. Will I be able to enjoy a massage? Will you be able to enjoy a massage where you have to wear a mask? And I guess, what does the mask really have to do with the massage? You know what I mean? Like, you can get your happy ending all the same. But to me, it just feels anytime I'm wearing a mask, even though I'm getting a little more used to it, I've actually had to do for like some of my consulting work and some home stuff, like home improvement stuff we're doing here. I've had to have meetings with strangers. And, we wear masks, duh. And so I will say that the more you wear the mask, I think the less weird it feels, which then in some ways is weird in and of itself because part of me wants the mask to always feel weird, right? Like you don't want this to become normal, but I guess it is what it fucking is. And it's just there's a certain point in life, like other people I know, I've had to tell family members that I love very much about this, that like you have to, there's a point where you just have to be like, it is what it is. And we can like try to want it to be something else. I don't know why I brought that all the way down like that. I don't know what I'm doing. It's been a while. We can want to be doing something different, but it is what it is. Want to be doing something different. Yeah, we can want things to be different, but they aren't. It is what it is. And so maybe it feels weird that a mask is normal for our lives now, but a mask is normal for our lives now. So how are you guys maintaining wellness and taking care of yourselves? I would probably offer that like drugs and alcohol is something I'm sure all of us, this is so incorrect. It's been a while since I've done this, you guys. So bear with me. This is when Jackie Ina will be like, dry this down, but I don't have a fan or a delay. This is not an edited video. This is a live video. So yeah, how are you guys maintaining wellness and health? Someone said not all of us. Well, so what are you doing then? You know what I mean? Although I have a glass of Brut Rosé tonight. Is that Andre? That sounds very Andre, and I'm not digging in my nose, guys. This is like my mustache. This is a mustache. This is a beard. This is a goatee. And this is a beard. This is getting a little long. Mint bleak. I was an alkie before, but work in TV help. TV brings me to my next topic. TV was helping me for a goodly while. I will be quite honest. TV was really holding me down and helping me get through a lot of things. But then she got kind of whack. Like I watched Saturday Night Live on Saturday. Shout out to Issa Rae. As she said, I'm rooting for everybody Black. So I'm very happy that she had that opportunity, especially because it was supposed to come earlier in the year and it was thwarted because of, TV production was shut down or whatever because of all the things happening in our world. So I'm happy that she was able, that dream wasn't deferred. We know we love a good Langston Hughes poem. However, the show sucked. And to me, I don't know. I'm like, do I just not like sketch comedy? But then somebody pointed out that I do like other sketch stuff. Someone said the food listen, this Chinese restaurant is so good. It is so good. Like I had it for dinner last night and I was so tempted, and I had like some leftovers for breakfast and I was so tempted to order it for lunch, but I decided not to. But what's this show? Saturday Night Live to me is just, I just feel like it has I don't know if it's no immediacy. Supposedly we got new colors for makeup, but I don't know. Let's try a different lighting. Maybe a little white. Ooh, girl, no. Molly, you in danger, girl. I just feel like that did nothing except for expose oil to my underarm. But I just feel like the show, it doesn't have like bite. It doesn't have any immediacy. Someone said maybe they have someone. I love how I'm saying someone like I can't see their names. Nicholas Vaughn said maybe they have too many cooks in the kitchen. And maybe, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's going on with it. I just think that it's got to a point where it's just become very like, I can see you thinking, do you know that? I'm laughing at myself because this is stupid, but we'll fix it. It's like, I can see you thinking, you know what I'm saying? Like I can see the jokes before they come. And I mean, I'm smart. I make no qualms about that I'm smart, perhaps smarter than most. I don't know. Y'all can debate that. But I do think I'm intelligent. On the very side of intelligent. So I'm like, maybe I see the jokes coming. I can't do this to myself. This is dry, but I'm like, maybe that is what's happening, that they're seeing the jokes coming. I mean, not seeing jokes coming, that like they just are overthinking it. And it like I feel like the reason why shows like that had like a certain thing that worked was that there was a certain a reference is not the word I'm looking for, but there was a certain like uh I already said this urgency, free flowingness, right? There was something about it that just felt very immediate and visceral and timely and smart and beautiful. And I just don't really feel that from them. And I haven't in a really long time. You know what I mean? And so the show to me just really falls really, really flat. What is the inspo or reference for this face? So why are people always trying to jump to the end? And maybe that's also part of the problem. Like maybe we need to just let them do the show and then we'll go from there. I'm giving you just a soft beat, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of, you'll see where I'm going, but I promise we have a destination. This foundation already looks better. So maybe that highlight, is just not right. We'll use it again though, but more sparingly. So that was my thing with that show. So my favorite channel right now, and I'm not saying it's just because this is where we are, because this channel, at the time of recording, this channel is not monetized. I do not draw any money from this. I do this for you guys, the people. But YouTube is what I've been watching most frequently, most regularly. And so, YouTube has some really great original content creators. And then also there's tons of things from the past to catch on to. And then I think perhaps the people that are really winning at the game are people who've understood how to bring those two together. And so they're, during this period in history, there was a lot of there were a lot of people who watched A&TM, America's Next Top Model. And so there were like a lot of these videos, and I watched an interview. For those of you who remember watching season 1, like I remember when that show came out, when it was a brand new phenomenon, and it was like, on UPN. And I would watch, I don't remember what day of the week it came on, but I remember watching, I know exactly what job I had, where we would talk about it at work, and I watched it week after week, and it was just really exciting, and we hadn't seen anything like it before. And it was a lot of fun to watch it. And so it was, people have been interviewing a lot of the girls, young ladies, and I guess some of the young men, because at one point they had male contestants. I had stopped watching by then, but because I aged out of it. And that was also kind of the beauty of the show, I think, is right, like that you would age out as you got older and your interests changed, but there was always a crop, kind of like American Idol. There's always a young person who's waiting to have their moment or whatever, who's just like, I can't wait till I turn 18 so I'd be eligible. Whereas like my peer group, we were always like, ooh, child, act fast for you age out of these shows. But I did enjoy, so they've been interviewing them, and I just watched an interview with Ebony from season 1. She's a hoot. She is a hoot. I love me a good New York girl. Love me a good New York girl. We're going to get into some more New York girls in just a little bit. But, it was also interesting because now everybody's on those shows is talking about how problematic Tyra was, just how many things. Because if you remember season 1, Ebony was the dark skinned girl. She was a lesbian, which wasn't really a controversial plot point with the show. They tried to create some drama amongst the cast, but not like production. But the issue with production was the fact that they were like, the texture of her skin is just so rough that they couldn't even airbrush it. It was just so rough. And so, it's become a question of like, was that racially problematic? And Ebony she has no issues with giving you the full scoop and really going there. So that'll be good. Ooh, the comments are coming in fast and furious. You're in the running to becoming America's Next Top Model. And then, those makeups, not makeup, but the makeovers were just some of them were really wonderful and some of them were really cringy. And I always thought it was interesting, especially look at that first season, the Black girls, they just did not do right by them. And you would have thought that like a show who had a Black supermodel, because love or hate Tyra Banks, she absolutely is, a supermodel par excellence, at the helm, would have made sure that those girls, I feel like that was like the low-hanging fruit for like what was wrong with the industry. But she didn't seem to, I'm not gonna say care. They didn't prioritize that in the way that I would have thought, the way I would have. Something else that was interesting about like the industry, we talked about this last week, the Tony Awards, we were worried. No one cares about the Tonys. I'm not even gonna talk about it. Moving on, toodaloo. Um, I'll write an essay about it one day, and that's about that on that. Some other things happening in TV. So yeah, so there's not a whole lot going on the TV right now, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, because October usually is when like all the new shows would be in full swing, all the old shows would be in full swing, everything would be in full swing, and it's just simply not, because the world, things are slowly coming back. I saw a commercial for Blackish. Someone said Lovecraft. So I didn't watch Lovecraft. I know, well, there's actually a very specific reason. I said, I wanted to watch. I got my hands on the pilot. I got my hands on the book. And so in my mind, I was going to read the book first, then read the pilot, and then see like, what would I imagine the show to be like? And then I was going to watch the show and see how it lined up with that. But life comes at you fast, like so fast. And so I didn't get a chance to read the book, which means I didn't read the pilot, which means I didn't yet watch the show. But hope springs eternal. But I just say all that to say I have nothing to offer this conversation about Lovecraft at this time. I've heard very mixed things about it, kind of like how this is mixed between where the actual contour of this is going to live. But I've heard mixed things. I've heard some people who really stand for it. I've heard some people say that it's problematic, which to me sounds like, a great show. Like if people don't have a reaction to it, if it doesn't bring something out of them one way or the other, that's the worst, like if someone, now I'm feeling very Dorian Corey, but if someone doesn't care about what you're doing one way or the other, I think that's when you should be most concerned. You know what I mean? It's like, there's some songs I could quote, but then I'd have to remember them, and I don't. But yeah, so there's that on that. Journey 4, I don't know what that is. Tell me about what that is, or maybe next week I can come back and give y'all a little more about that. So I had a plan for this face. How close we are to that plan? Oh. We are so far off from it. Journey deserves an Emmy for sure. That's what you're saying. Journey, it was a typo. Journey Smollett. And Jussie Smollett, her brother, seems to be trying to get back in the world. Speaking of people getting back in the world, I saw that Andrew Gillum has a podcast coming out, and I'm just like, I guess he has to keep moving with his life, and like the rest of us, he has bills and he has a family. I don't know if RJ, that's his wife, I don't know if she works outside the home or what, but I just, what the young people be saying? Say less. That's just how I feel about him. Like, say motherfucking less. I just feel like I'm seeing him way too often. I think this broke. Whatever this was supposed to be, it broke. So let's just go ahead and throw that in the trash. I had an eyebrow gel in here, and I don't know where it is. Oh, here it is. Potomac is good. Oh, The Real Housewives. I do need to watch that. I saw the girls were fighting on that. I've been watching a lot of fights on YouTube too. Everything just comes back to the YouTube. Wendy Williams is back, and that's been a hoot. If nothing else, just laughing at how they try to act like, like they wheel the guests in on a TV screen, and it's just they've gone a little tongue in cheek, or at least I think it's tongue in cheek. This thing is empty. I used this twice. This is how they scam you. They said a sample 2 times. What the hell? I'm a little disappointed. Like, I mean, I just wanted to make sure that it did what it said. But in a way, because my eyebrows are very thin on the ends, which I've always liked. I think of it as like a natural arch. But anytime I get my face done, they fill them in. I'm saying anytime as if I'm always getting beat down. So I was trying to do that. But can he make a comeback? Andrew Gillum. Well, the thing that his team did that was really smart is that they shifted the focus from like his questionable morality to being like, he's bisexual. And if y'all think that Black men can't be bisexual, or that him being bisexual but married to a woman is not possible, then y'all are the problem. So he silenced, I think, a lot of his critics. My issue with him, though, right, is I absolutely believe that people can be bisexual and get married. I'm not convinced that he is of the bisexual ilk. And then even if he is, like, he's just made some questionable choices. But if you want to have a podcast, I don't know that you need to be a moral authority to have a podcast, but I also don't know that I care to hear what you have to say. Like, unless you are, as a friend of mine said, if you ain't talking about gay shit, like if you're not going to talk about this whole, this is what I was looking for, bloop. If you're not going to talk about the fact that you are on the spectrum of queerness and we can't call in and ask your thoughts about that, then, oh, can Jesse make a comeback? Well, let me just finish the thought on Andrew. If that's not what we're talking about, then, I don't care. Can Jesse make a comeback? Well, someone also said, do they have an open relationship? I don't know what kind of relationship they have. And to be quite honest, I don't care. Like, I think that like Andrew Gillum has overestimated how much he means, at least to me. I don't know about the rest of the girls, but he's definitely overestimated how much he means to me. And I would think to the culture. And I feel like he would do better by just staying away. Jussie Smollett, he's directing a film. He's directing the film version of B-Boy Blues. If you aren't familiar, that was a relatively important, I won't say relative, it's a very important novel for the queer canon. So this is around the time of Elin Harris. And so he's directing the film version of that. I think him being a director perhaps is a good choice. So we see a different side of him without having to see him as much. The thing with him is like, I saw a lot of people have been caping for him. Someone said like Monique. A lot of people have been caping for him. I saw he got Angela Davis on his side and a couple other people who are very intelligent and very prominent. Again, someone I think who's overestimated their importance to the culture and underestimated their malfeasance, which brings me to my next point. Speaking of malfeasance, have you heard about Bob Smith? So Bob Smith, if you don't remember, Bob Smith is like, I want to say he's the richest Black man in America, but I don't know. But he is a very rich Black man. He's a billionaire, legitimate, however they confirm these things, his was confirmed. And he really came into the public sphere when he donated a considerable amount of money to Morehouse College, but not just that he donated a considerable amount of money, but it was what the donation was for. And it was to eliminate all the debt for the graduating class, which if you are unfamiliar with the importance of what that means, that like a lot of people graduate, college, and they may be first generation college or not, but they have student loan debt, which just, they have great career. This is so dumb. Like, this is supposed to be for bronzer, but it's like a sponge. And I mean, this bronzer is not my color at all, but this looks extra crazy. So we're just going to put that sponge back in there. And so he eliminated their debt for the whole graduating class, which means that like, wow, you get to really level up with your education, which is the key in our society, without being encumbered by debt, which is another shackle that the system has put, to ensure. I don't even know if this is race-based. I mean, I think in our society, race and this actually smells really good. This is Physician Formula Butter Bronze. It smells really good, but it's not for me as I continue to use it. But the system, there are all these checks and balances, we'll say, that they put in place to make sure that like you don't ever get too comfortable or too carried away with succeeding. And so he eliminated all their debt. And apparently he hasn't paid taxes. He actually, but the gag with him was that like he has not only, accrued $139 million tax debt. Imagine that. But it was like very active and deliberate. So this wasn't a case of like, oh, my accountants told me 1 + 1 = 3 and I believe them. You know what I mean? this was like, oh, he was given like whatever it was, he's connected to someone who owes $2 billion in taxes. $2 billion in taxes. And so he was like, I'll help you get to him, take him down. He snitched, which I mean, hey, whatever. But I'm not like team no snitching. I'm not a snitch, but I also don't understand like if you've done something bad and I know about it, but I didn't do something bad. I don't know if I should take the fall for that, but that's neither here nor there. Um, and so, it's kind of gone under the radar, which in some ways I appreciate because with all the shit going on in the world right now, we don't need someone being like, look, Black people are problematic because they did this. But then I also think that there's a conversation, like someone I respect very much, care about very much, was like, he's still my hero, and I don't think Black people should ever have to pay taxes. And I was like, that would be an interesting form of reparations, right? If they were like, Black people don't have to pay taxes. But then this just also confirmed to me, which I believe that like I'm still not convinced. I do not believe that a person can become a billionaire in our society ethically. Like I just don't think that you can become a billionaire ethically. And the reason why I feel that way is $1 billion is a lot of money. And it's a lot of money for one person to amass. And to amass that amount of money, it means that you have to be making money off of money. You have to be making money off of other people. And I think for you to amass $1 billion, it means that you've made, and maybe I'm wrong, like I would be happy if someone could show me this, but I feel like that means that somewhere in that food chain, you've made money off of someone who is living uncomfortably, right? Not saying that everybody has to be a billionaire, everyone has to be on, there's parity for everyone. If you're packing the boxes, I don't know that you need to always make the same amount of money as the person who designed or created whatever goes in the boxes. But if you're packing the boxes, you should still be able, you show up to work on time every day and do what is asked of you. You should still be able to take care of yourself. If you become ill, take care of your family, live comfortably. And by comfortably, I mean like, in a home that is safe and has all of the things that we've come to accept as normal in our world, like running water and without lead in it, safe drinking water, potable water, as they say, and all those things. And so if you don't have that, that's a problem. And I just don't think that any of those billionaire food chains, including some of the people that we revere very much, I'm still not convinced that their food chains trickle down all the way in a safe and meaningful, not safe and meaningful, but in a completely ethical way all the way through. And I don't think that like because you make important charitable contributions that automatically corrects how you know what I mean? It's like, well, you got this dirty money, but you went and did something generous with it. I don't know that means the money that what you did before was ethical. It also doesn't mean that you should be canceled, right? Like I think that we can be like, a good person did a bad thing. You know what I mean? Or a bad person does a good thing. Like I think we can hold multiple truths. But yeah. So that's that on that. And the person that just because I think we a lot of times let people off the hook. So I could just do this right now and just give you like a little. First, I look like my brother, but because he wears hats like this all the time. But his has more of an Indiana Jones brim. This actually was my most recent find that I got at the thrift. As you guys may know, I'm doing a year of sustainable fashion, i.e. not buying any new clothes. I can buy shoes. I can buy personal items like underwear, socks, athletic gear. But I got that hat at the thrift store, and that's a pretty good hat. It's a Gorin Brothers hat, and it was $6.99. So that we're off to a great start. And you guys may remember this piece. I'm gonna add something fun to it, but I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this. You guys may remember this one. This was originally designed for a show I did. The character's name was London. And then we decided to use this for the Lion King. But I want to give you just like a little safari tease, which is what I'm giving you. Like, so we're going to use this, but we're going to thin him out. She used to be a her. I feel like something was in it. Oh, my eyebrow thing got caught in it. We're going to thin it out. And what we're going to do is I'm going to thin out. What am I going to thin out? So I think this is how I want it to go. Yeah. So this is how I want it to go. So yeah, so that's my thing. Like, do you think that a person can become a billionaire ethically? Do you think that what Bob Smith did was right or wrong? I hope his name is Bob Smith. So right now you see this doesn't really fit. So we need to take a little bit more off the top. But we don't want to lose too much volume where it starts to feel kind of chintzy. And I just learned that chintz is like a pattern. I didn't know what I thought chintz was or if I ever thought much about it. So the other thing, what was I about to say? So that's that on Bob Smith. Let me know your comments in the comment section down below. So have you heard about your girl JLo? I know some of us don't know her, and that makes perfect sense. So we're just gonna take all this out. Your girl JLo, apparently in a song, it's a Spanish language song with a Colombian, with the Colombian. I think that was really wrong of Bob, is what someone said. With the Colombian artist named Maluma. I should have had the name of the song. I think it's called Lonely. But she says the lyric, and then she says, "Siempre serás tu negrita del Bronx," which means I will always be your little black girl from the Bronx. And not surprisingly, the streets have gone crazy. And by the streets, I mean Black Twitter. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Before we get into JLo, talking about billionaires. And for those of you wondering how we got to this in the title, speaking of Black billionaires, y'all know Tyler Perry's a billionaire. Apparently, he's been using that money to go to the gym and work out. And he posted a picture. He's thirst trapping out here. I thought he had a fiance. I mean, I guess you could still thirst trap if you have a fiance. I thought he had a fiance who was a woman. They had a baby together, blah, blah, blah. I'm not getting into the weeds of their relationship because who has that kind of time? But the people are losing their mind because they saw a little bit of print. And I was talking to a friend actually right before I logged on, and she was like, I don't get it. Like, what, you know? And I'm like, well, first of all, I guess people thought because he was Medea, they forgot that he is like, 6'3", 4, 5, something very tall. He's a handsome man, like by, just basic standards. It's just that he's so problematic. And he played that old lady drag queen for so long, and the sexuality is so questionable. Or I'll say disgust. I won't say questionable. I'll say it's so disgust that I think people maybe forgot that he could potentially be attractive to them. And it's a pandemic. It's a pandemic. So people just don't even know what dick looks like if they don't have a partner. So they out here excited to see something. So, I mean, go off. I'll tell y'all this much, and y'all can hate me. If Tyler Perry would have asked me to dinner, even before this photo, I mean, I would accept. Just call a thing a thing. Would you accept if he invited you to dinner? Whether you're a man, a woman, or something else? And is it wrong to just be like something else? Because I'm not saying something else as if something else is less important, significant, valid, real than being a man or a woman. I just want to make sure everyone is being included. You know what I mean? Like so it's like all the things. So please don't cancel me because I ain't even really get started yet. And I mean, well, I love all God's children, not just in theory, but in practice. Unless you're voting for Donald, his last name, then we got beef. So back to JLo, Su Negrita del Bronx. So my issue with Jennifer Lopez, does she have a middle name? Because this actually looks really good even without the hat. It looks really good. Do y'all like this? Do y'all like how this looks? Okay, maybe not, but I just feel like it's giving me life and it's everything. Imagine if I was like, I feel like there's some beauty influencers who do this with their own hair, like who are just as liberal with these fucking paper scissors as I am right now with their own hair. And I just want to be that free. You a lamb, that's your issue. I am a Mariah Carey fan. My thing with JLo, so this is my issue with Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer, insert her middle name, Maria Lopez. I don't know. That was problematic. I recognize, except I've been to Puerto Rico. I've experienced some passive aggressive racism for Puerto Rican people. I've also experienced warmth and joy and love from Puerto Rican people in Puerto Rico, in New York City, everywhere. And my issue with Jennifer Lopez being su negrita or mi negrita del Bronx is that, and this is the issue I have with quite a few people on quite a few things, is that like that's a new phenomenon, right? Like Jennifer Lopez, you've been Black adjacent when it has served you, when you wanted to put out records with Ja Rule and you wanted to use the N-word, when it served you to do that and say to be that, it was fine. When you were dating Diddy, you were giving us Black girl vibes. You, as far as I know, you never said in any of those moments though that you were a Black woman. You also said all lives matter. Like you said that out your mouth. You played a whole white woman in The Wedding Planner, which is just a mess of a film, actually. It's kind of like a great rom-com, but also a mess of a film. You played a whole white woman, and like not just a white woman because, we infer because she has white parents, but it was like a very discussed plot point that also could have easily been replaced with a Latina identity. It didn't even have to be Puerto Rican, because as people are fine with crossing the specifics of country, and I don't know that that's incorrect. But you could have been a Puerto Rican, or Dominican woman, and that movie would have turned out exactly the same. Someone said that was Ashanti singing that part. Right, you used Ashanti's vocals and then acted real confused when people ask questions about it. And so I think that like, if you're going to be someone's negrita del Bronx, that am I giving you Scarecrow? Am I giving you Safari? I don't know. But if you're going to be someone's negrita del Bronx, you know what I mean? I feel like that's something that like either you've always been, especially if you're saying I'll always be, or you need to talk about. And my thing is, I think that people can evolve and change, right? So you could have said all lives matter in 2016, which you did. But you can be like, now that the world is different and I'm different and I got a new husband, because she swap them out about every, like she's changing like cars, like every 3 to 5 years. She got a new husband, which is her body, her choice. And so it's fine if you're like, that is where I am now. I'm vibrating on a different plane. And so this is how I feel differently. And this is, you know what I mean? And this is how I may have incorrectly impacted the experience. I'm gonna say incorrectly. This time may have negatively impacted the experience of Black folk because I was out here allowing Hollywood to let me just play a white woman instead of actually being a Latinx character, Latina character, or Black, since you're a Black girl from the Bronx, Black character, multiracial character, like so many things that you could have done where you just chose to just be a straight up white woman. And so I feel like if you aren't going to address those issues, then I don't know that you get to be mi negrita del Bronx. You know what I mean? Especially, I'm already raising questions because being Black is so, it's trendy now. Like I won't say that being Black is trendy because the world, hates Black people, whatever. But that being Black aligned is very trendy right now. And so I think understanding the diaspora and the fullness of Black experience is so on trend and is really can only serve to benefit you unless you were going to double down and say that you're a Trump supporter. So, you know what I mean? And so what are Afro Latinx folks saying? I don't know. That's that on that. But I can tell you what me as a Black person is saying. And I know that the Black girls, the Black cis women, and I didn't hear any trans women specifically comment on this. So I won't say what they are or aren't feeling. But I know that the Black folk are not having it because I am giving Erykah Badu vibes, even though that wasn't my intention. So yeah, so that's how I feel about that. And I feel like she, it's kind of the same way I feel about like, and we'll get deep into this another day, but it's kind of the same way I feel about like, let's just say that she is accepting that she is a part of the Black diaspora, right? Like, and she's recognizing as a Puerto Rican woman, she's, her people very well may have been brought to the world, brought to the new world in chattel slavery as a part of transatlantic slave trade. It's kind of the same way I feel about people who come out later in life, come out as gay later in life, where I think that's great, right? But I think if you've benefited from being straight aligned, we'll say. I'm not going to say if you were in the closet or not in the closet, whatever. That's for you to decide. But if that's what you benefited from, then I think that once you decide to cross over into a queer identity, there should at least be some recognition of that, right? And of how maybe you're standing in society by like your career or your socioeconomic standing. All of that stuff may have been benefited from your alignment with whiteness in the instance of Jennifer Lopez, or straightness in, these other people we're speaking about. And I think it's quite interesting that most of the people who hold space right now in the conversation around Black queerness are people who came to prominence as straight or straight aligned, and now they get to hold the space when there are people out here, not just me, but many people who've come before me and are far older than I am, who've navigated the world in Black identity for 50, 60, 70, 80 years, and they don't get to hold space. But then someone who's come out, like, bringing it back to Andrew Gillum, someone who just came out as bisexual weeks ago, Don Lemon, relatively newly out, they're the ones holding space and getting the Tamron Hall interviews and to narrate the full to narrate the experience of Black gayness. And obviously they're Black and they're gay or bi or however they identify. So they definitely have I'm not saying that they shouldn't be able to tell their story. I'm just saying it's interesting to me that those are the people that get to center the conversation. That was a tangent. We're talking about JLo. And so that's that on that. Someone said Jill Scott Scarecrow vibes. Getting in the way of what I'm feeling. I was feeling very scarecrowy too. So then the next thing I want to talk about, I was going to talk about Ice Cube, but I really just don't have it in me. I don't. And the reason why I don't have it in me is that, like, it's just like somebody says something, this is different topic, but same issue, which is about, just like Black people voting politics. And so somebody posts all these pictures about Coppola. They call Kamala Coppola, and they're just so anti-Kamala. And so someone was like, what's the solution? And she was like, I don't know, but it ain't Trump and it ain't Coppola. And I'm like, honey, that's not a solution. And I feel like that's not exactly what Ice Cube is doing, but I just don't have it in me to argue with people who are having these kinds of crazy thoughts. I don't have it in me. I just think that, like, you guys need to vote. Not voting for me is a non-starter. If you're not voting, there's nothing to converse about. If you're voting for Donald Trump, we have nothing to converse about it, but nothing on this eyelid. And now they're giving you nice rosy. Now my life is rosy. I'm so glad you chose me. Life is one sweet, beautiful song. When love is right, then nothing go wrong. Now you have to do Dottie and the Tin Man. So I got to do all the characters. I'm fine with that. I feel like I gave y'all a gold version of the Tin Man in the pilot season. And then 50 Cent, I just don't have it in me. I mean, at the end of the day, I can't tell you who to vote for, but I can tell you how I'm going to treat you if you don't vote for Joe Biden. And that is badly. Point blank, period. Nothing criminal, nothing harsh like that, but we just can't be friends because it's just gotten that bad. Like, we're beyond agree to disagree. You know what I mean? And so the last thing I wanted to talk about, or the next thing, which will be the last thing, was SARS. And I'm not talking about the disease that's going on in the world, which is just like, what are the odds, that like SARS would be making a comeback? But I'm talking about Nigeria, which stands for the Special Anti-Robbery Squad. And the upshot on that is that, like in our country, there are some issues with the over-policing of folks, and there have been some political uprisings and police retaliation in Nigeria, and that's not okay. It's incorrect. And I think that we definitely need to check in and do what we can. I do not have action steps to offer you. And I don't want to be so trite and just say pray for Nigeria, but sure, do that. I'm going to do some more research so that I can try to be more learned and offer more action steps. And I see a lot of people commenting, sharing things, liking, tweeting, et cetera, which I think is really great. But I wanted to bring to light something else, right? And so it's like something that came up during the whole Black Lives Matter movement here, which was the recognition that, like, Black Lives Matter. And so when George Floyd is killed, when Breonna Taylor is killed, all of those are incorrect, right? And it's like all Black Lives Matter, Black cis men, Black trans men, Black cis women, Black trans women, and everything and everyone in between, and however else you slice it up. And so true is for the rest of the world. And so I think that like we've gotten into a place, I'm in a couple of different travel groups on like different social media sites. And so on one Facebook group I'm in, someone had posted something where they were talking about how excited they were because Dubai and several other countries I think are piloting this, but this was specifically about Dubai, is now offering people who are from other countries the opportunity to like basically you can work remotely, and they have like commercials and all this stuff like advertising that like they have a new visa scheme that allows you to move to Dubai and you can live in the fabulousness of Dubai instead of being in wherever you were living, and you can still work your job wherever it was in the world. You know what I mean? So you're working for Amazon or something, you can just come to Dubai. And I commented that like for a goodly number of people in this group, at least for me, this is a non-starter because this country has very strict anti-gay policies that such that if I were to ever get caught activating my gayness, and you can determine what that means, I would be imprisoned. And like, depending on how, a lot of these countries have on the books, and Nigeria is one of these countries as well that has on their books that you can go to jail or even be punished depending on which parish. I don't know if they use the word parish, but or state, depending on where you are, you can also be like killed or, like legally for being gay or expressing some sort of LGBTQIA plus leaning or experience. And so I think that like if all Black lives matter, so too do all African lives. And I think that like it's great that everybody is rallying behind this moment with this special anti-robbery squad, because that's incorrect. But it's like we can't only look at these like the same way we don't want people to only care about the fact that Breonna Taylor got killed, that there's so many other things that are plaguing the experience and existence of Black people in our country, and we want the whole world to stand behind us and support all of that, right? And in that nuance, it's like so too is true for the other things. And that's why I always struggled with the whole year of return and all this stuff, because it's like I'm not welcome. Like my dollars are welcome because I'm American, but me and my whole big ass sissy, bad wig, bad makeup, none of which makes me gay, but just a part of the performance that I'm giving you guys right now, me and my non-boyfriend having self, but dating and living, being single, sexy, and free self, I'm not welcome in that country. I'm not welcome in most of the Caribbean. And there's a range of how aggressive and not aggressive. And it's like, we're all complicit as long as we continue to, at a minimum, stay silent, and at a maximum, invest in these economies and countries by supporting the tourism, or just being like, oh, well, I'll just go there and not be gay for the week, and not recognize that like, child, like for me, I'm like, I don't want to visit nowhere that I can't live. And not just from my own like selfish thing, but it's like, I don't think I would be able to enjoy myself knowing that someone who lives here and works at the resort that's serving me is not able to experience any of the freedoms that I am, able to there or somewhere else. So I just want everybody to think about that. Did y'all have any thoughts on if you're not voting Biden, you're voting Trump? Yes, I agree. Do y'all have any thoughts on the SARS thing? And so I'm not saying that to say that like don't, support anti-SARS or however it's being articulated. I don't want to use the wrong words. It's so scary to talk on the internet nowadays. It's like you have to be so specific in the language you choose to use. It can go so left so quickly. But I'm absolutely saying that like, we need to do all that we can from where we can to help make the world a better place for all God's children. But I'm saying that like this is but one piece. That's what I'm offering. This is but one piece. In the example of Nigeria, this is but one piece. This is but one piece. What was the Scarecrow song in The Wizard of Oz? In The Wiz? Because I don't know The Wizard of Oz music, period. You can't win in the movie. But what's it on? Oh, I was born on the day before yesterday. Or something like that, right? I don't really know that song. But I can give you a little, he's on down the road. He's on down the road. Don't you carry nothing that might be a load. He's on down the road. Put your left foot up. Clearly, I don't know the music. He's on down the road. Do do do. This full so a little secret time. I don't like that movie. I really don't like that film at all. I didn't like it as a kid. And I don't like it now. I think part of the reason why I didn't like it, and I love Diana Ross, but I mean, like, again, just because I love you don't mean everything you do is right, mama. Mm-mm. I mean, vocally, she was fine. You know, she made choices, and I'm fine with that. But I just didn't understand why you're like my age I am right now. Like, I cannot imagine right now being thrust into Oz and being as confused as she was. Like, I'd be like, all right, y'all, this is some weird shit. I have to stop using drugs after this, and this is what we're gonna do to get out of here. Boom, 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 boom. I would not be so confused and all of that stuff. You know what I mean? So that's part of why I don't and didn't it just didn't make sense to me. And then, you know, I saw a tour when I was very young. I think it was my first, I count this as my first Broadway style show. I don't know if it actually was my first Broadway show, but my first Broadway style show. And the reason I'm saying not Broadway is because they're so specific about what that means. It was at the Beacon Theater. It was not at one of the Broadway theaters, but it was the production directed by George Faison, who's the original choreographer, and it starred many of the original cast, including Andre DeShields as the Wiz, and Tony Award winner Andre DeShields as the Wiz, and Stephanie Mills as Dorothy. So I saw that, I think, even before I saw the film. And so seeing Stephanie belt out those songs and give you the choreography and all of that, it just put the whole show in a different space for me. That the film, you know, now as I'm much older and more sophisticated about how I understand music, I'm like, oh, what's happening musically in the film is brilliant. Like, it's Quincy Jones and, you know, Michael Jackson and Diana Ross. Like, they're doing some really interesting and wonderful things, but just how the whole thing came together for me is a little boring. Do do do. So that's what I got on that. I'm not going to sing Home because someone told me now I have to do all the other characters because I'll give you Scarecrow. And I'll do a whole IG photo shoot where you'll be able to see all the dimensions that I've carved into my face that this camera is not picking up. Yeah, and that's that on that. So in conclusion, billionaires be scammers. That's basically the name of the game. So if you're dating a scammer who's out here running credit cards, you too may one day be a billionaire's wife. I don't know, I kept having all these Bye Bye Birdie songs in my mind because I was about to start singing English Teacher's Wife. Mr. Phi Beta Kappa Peterson, the English Teacher's Wife. I will say the way this camera is, it makes me look like I have Nene Leakes blue teeth. Because Nene Leakes teeth be so white they blue. And I feel like the way this light is hitting it, my teeth are not that white in real life. But we will take it. JLo es una negrita del Bronx. Today, we'll see who she is next week. And then I'm like, so is her daughter a negrita del Bronx? Is Mark Anthony un negrito? Oh no, that's her baby daddy. A-Rod, it's Alex Rodriguez. De donde eres? ¿Quién es? You know. But that's all the Spanish I know. It may not even have used it correctly. And didn't I turn this wig out though? Like, if you guys go back and see, maybe I'll do a side by side, like how it started, how it ended up. We turned that wig around, you know. I feel like I'm giving you this. And you know, this is all about identity. So I'm giving you Scarecrow, Safari, Black Lives Matter, Black Gay Lives Matter, Black Lives are Black Gay Lives, Black Gay Lives are Black Lives, Black Gay Lives in Brooklyn, Black Gay Lives in Lagos are all lives that matter. I could write a poem. I could be Jill Scott, but I'm not going to do that. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. This was really fun. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe. Russ Graney said, came in at the buzzer. What secrets can you reveal about plans for Halloween karaoke? So, if you don't already know, I'll be doing a live stream Halloween karaoke virtual experience. The link is in my bio. You can go to bit.ly/ capital WBM, capital H, Halloween, WBM Halloween, WBMH are capital, the rest are not. Bit.ly's actually require you to use their case sensitive. What secrets can I reveal? This isn't a secret. It's going to be a lot of fun. You don't have to sing. If watching is your jam, that's totally welcomed. If you like to sing, that's also welcome. We may slip in some trivia, maybe not, no promises. So maybe that's something I can reveal here just for you guys. I'll be in costume. Can't tell you what it is yet, mainly because I don't know. There may be some special guests, maybe not. It's free. Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. If you don't, I don't care. I'm pulling down your underwear. So that's what I can reveal on that. I hope that you all can join me. It's open to all people, wherever they are in the world. It's October 31st, which is Halloween here in the United States, and it's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll go for a little while until we just don't want to go anymore. The only requirement is that you adhere to the musical theme if you do decide to sing, which is 90s and 2000s, meaning the first era, the aughts. So, no, are the aughts the 10s? I don't know, 2000s though. So 1990 to 2009. It's a big spread of music. You know what I mean? Like that covers a lot of ground sonically. Probably could have just done 90s or 2000s, but I was trying to give you people something to play in, a little bit of space. So yeah, so that's what I got on that. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe. If you care, you can hit the notification bell. If you don't have to. We just want your subscribe. Top tip, you subscribe and don't hit the bell. It's like it never happened. You help me, I help you. Everybody wins. But if you hit the bell and you forget that it's Wednesday at 10 o'clock, you'll be notified that this is happening. If you hit the bell, you'll be notified when new videos drop, because on the wonderful world of WBM, it's not only this live content. We have interviews, we have zany, crazy videos just from my own imagination. In case you didn't know, I have a crazy mind, and this whole experience is letting you guys into that. If you have something to say, if you're not watching it live, I do check back because I'm super vain and want to see what you guys have to say. So make sure to comment what you feel. You don't have to agree with me. You don't get any points if you do agree with me. A comment is a comment is a comment. And a party ain't a party till it's ran all through. And I think this one has been run all through. I love you all, even those of you who I can't see, unless you vote for, who, then I don't love you. And that's all I got for today. Every emotion we have is a choice, so why not choose joy? Bye. He's on down the road. Do, do, do. Don't you carry nothing that might be a load. He's on down, he's on down. He's on down, he's on down. He's on down, he's on down. Down the road.